Hi, I'm Mrs. Thompson, and I'm going to talk about learning disabilities in STEM. First, we're going to talk about some of the laws that impacted learning special education. The first one is Brown versus Board of Education. It marked the beginning of the abolition of segregation in public schools. It established the right of all children to an equal opportunity for an education, and children were no longer separate but equal. Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act prohibits discrimination on the basis of disability in programs that receive federal funding. An individual must be determined to have a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. The Education for All Handicapped Children Act was the first special education law directed at students with physical and mental disabilities. Public schools must provide children with special needs with the same opportunities for education as other children. Americans with Disabilities Act prohibits discrimination in employment, public services, public accommodations, and telecommunications. Employers have to make reasonable accommodations for employees with disabilities and ensures that buildings, transportation, and other public places are accessible to people with disabilities. Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, replaced the wording the handicapped by individual with disabilities. Also, it added significantly to the education of very young children and prepared older students for the transition to post-secondary life. It also added two categories to the already existing categories of learning disabilities, which was autism and traumatic brain injury. Elementary and Secondary Education Act, No Child Left Behind. The Act called for schools to be accountable for the academic performance of students, whether or not they have disabilities. The Act required that every state develop routine assessments for students' academic skills. The law required that each state would come up with their own criteria for evaluation. Disabilities in the field of STEM. Did you know that 8% of American students have a diagnosed learning disability? 5 to 6% of STEM jobs are filled by people with some form of disability, and the number of STEM jobs is projected to increase 20% by 2018. Why are more people with disabilities not working in jobs related to STEM? According to my research, employers need more training about people with disabilities and education on ADA. Employers are not familiar with or aware that they must provide adaptive equipment or are not willing to provide assistive technology. They lack the proper paperwork. They're willing to help, but they don't know how. Inclusive education in STEM. Inclusive education is when students with disabilities are placed in the general education classroom. They're in small groups where they learn social skills, responsibility, and collaboration. They have peer mentors that can help them find answers to problems, which can help reduce stress and anxiety. They are also receiving content-related material that is on grade level. Supporting students with disabilities in STEM through Common Core. Common Core provides a consistent, clear understanding of what students are expected to learn. It allows for students to take a deeper meaning of the concepts learned and to use hands-on, meaningful applications of these concepts. It allows flexibility to learn in multiple ways and to show what students have learned in different forms. How to use technology to impact student learning. Technology can be used in multiple ways to provide multiple and flexible methods of presentation of information and knowledge, flexible means of expression, flexible means of engagement to tap into diverse learners' interests, and also kids with disabilities can use their assistive technology. Collaboration and co-teaching. Students co-teaching is a true partnership between teachers. It's the ability to adapt instruction to student needs, effectively plan strategies that promote learning. It's identifying specific areas that students struggle with. It's being an advocate.
Created using Powtoon.